husband and I were stuck at home. We were at an age where we didn't want to go out anywhere. So I had used up all of my good reference photos. I couldn't get together with my model that Caroline was talking about. So what could I paint that I would really enjoy? And water has been in my life all the time, and that was finally, after a lot of thinking, that was a natural decision to make. I grew up on Mobile Bay, just down the street from us, and my earliest memory of the water is when my brother built a little raft and waited for the tide, and then he just pushed me out to sea with it. I think he got one of those whippings when it was really not illegal to do so. And then living in Mobile, and then on the Gulf Coast, and then out of the country, we were always around water. I've snorkeled so many different places and learned to scuba dive. So we have been in some exotic, wonderful places way down deep under the water. And I can always, when I'm working on a painting, I can always feel it, sense it, think about it. But the thing was, when I started to, when I decided to go into painting seascapes, I had to learn how the water moves. And so I started studying. There was, excuse me, one book that I dog-eared, I guess. If you're interested in seascapes, an oil painter named E. John Robinson has some excellent videos, and his book, so you can go to that website. He's deceased now, but his son has continued his resources. That to me was the definitive work on learning how water moves, the energy of it, the colors, the changes of the day, everything about it. And then if you're into pastel, a few are, I know, it's Lana Ballot has some excellent courses on painting the seascape in pastel. And of course, Jean Rosé Smith. She's does just dynamite close-ups of the sea. And this is the one I'm going to do today.
So this is a photo you took in where is?
Actually, I don't have many photos of the water. At the time we were traveling, I was doing portraits only, so my camera was always on the face. Regrettably, because we were in some great places for water, all along the California coast. Why didn't I get that? I don't know. So now most of my photos are from pixabay.com. They are royalty free. You're free to use them, even on something that you're going to sell or publish or put on your website. The restriction on that is that I can't enter them into my competitions. So that's a drawback to me, because I'm painting so many of them now. But until I can put together a trip, that's what I am. But Pixabay got some great photos. And the neat thing about the photos, a lot of them are in freeze frame, where the camera is such high resolution that you can see the droplets on the water. Really, really great. And this is one of them. So I'm just going to start with my base colors first. And I don't really be careful about this section or this part of the painting. I do move in different strokes, and I don't try to go slow. doesn't have to be the exact color. I'm more interested in the value. But I do, for this, I go with the local colors as much as possible. This is Uart paper that's mounted on foam core.
What grit is it, Carolyn?
400. I use 400 except for if I'm doing a live model where you're limited to 3 hours. I'll use 800 grit because it's so smooth I can just do a few strokes. You don't have to, on these, with this 400 grit, I can build up so many layers. And this one is fairly rough. Sometimes I have a section I don't like, so use the foam brush, get rid of it, just brush it off, and it still has plenty of tooth to continue with. I've just done a very basic big shape outline. With the Seascapes, I don't draw any of the details in.
And what did you use to do your outline? Your rough sketch?
A charcoal, pastel pencil. I want to keep that. This is this neat little separation of water here, and it's just got a lot of character to it, so I'm gonna keep that in there. I have to always remind myself to make it dark enough, because I tend to go too light, and then I can't get the contrast in, so you have to go back over it and over it. This backwater, maybe too much. My favorite little tools is window foam insulation. It's a higher density than the pipe insulation, but it's what you would put around a window to eliminate the drafts. So and that's the difference it makes. It covers up the color of the paper without destroying the grid.
Carolyn, did you buy a set of blues?
What?
Did you buy a particular, like a marine set of blues, or just?
I did. I found, this part of my tray is just blues that I had accumulated over the years. They're different brands, lots of different brands, different softness. But when I really decided to go into this, I kept looking at, well, which famous artist that's doing seascapes, what is she using? And I found this artist in Australia, Tricia Taylor, and she had put together a seascape set of Unisons, and that's that's what I got. That's basically what's on this side.
What's your name, Tricia who?
Taylor,
Taylor.
T-R-I-C-I-A, I think it is. But also, so that's what I did. And then I bought this set of Richesons. I love this
Oh,
one.
they're nice.
It's called Turquoise Blue, Turquoise Blues. I love the texture of it, as well as the colors are so good. I bought this one before that, and it's not as useful to me, right, at least not right now. It's Blue Earth Pastels, and this is called the Turquoise set. Got this, I told my husband what I wanted, so he went out to the garage and he had it.
That's right, okay.
So before I started using that, for these big areas like this, I was using this part of my hand. And these colors kind of almost stain into your skin. These blues.
Yeah. Is it okay to take a picture?
Hmm?
Is it okay to take a picture?
Sure, anytime, yeah.
Can you tell me about your what you're using right now? Is it soft, the pastels that you're using in there?
They're soft.
Okay.
They're not, I find that I'm not using the new pastels and the hard pastels as much anymore, hardly ever. Because, I go on lightly enough and then using this, it doesn't destroy the grit.
Okay.
So the soft pastels are working.
Is there a particular brand that you like over other?
Oh, maybe not for this particular, not for the underpainting, but in general, yes. I love the new, the Unison,
Unison?
yes. And I really like these Jack Richeson. The texture of it is just really, really nice.
So you were saying this is just the underpainting part? This is the underpainting and you're gonna go back over it, okay.
All of this,
Hundreds of dollars.
I think the main thing to do about the seascapes is to think about that, how that water is moving. Where is it the thickest? Where is the light shining on it? Where is it the thinnest? So down here, that's at the same level as this, and it's very thick. That's the depth of the ocean. So you've got to make the viewer think that that's going way back under the waves. All of that's going back. And then this area, all in here, is thinner, but it's not the thinnest part. So the light is behind and it's shining through that water. In this photo, it makes it look almost white. It's a very light value. But you can't paint it that light and have it work. You've got to put things under it and over it. And then this part right here, I would think that it's thin, but it's not, because the water has come up and it's almost like that. So there's some thickness to it. And it depends upon where the sun is hitting it, whether it's going to be, how much light it's going to have on it. So there's an area as that wave comes over and it starts to fall that it's almost flat. It may not be a big area, but it's going to be flat. And then it starts making its cascade down. So wonderfully in this stop action photo, I can see all of these little things right here. That's where the water has already come up, it's hit this level, and it's starting down. And then in here is almost at this kind of angle. So it's not getting as much light. There'll be some shade on it. To make it believable, you have to get that shadow, that dark area behind it. The light parts where the sun is hitting, those you'll do at the very end. But in order to get this little jagged area right in here. I take a gray on, in this case, for some reason I've got this purple in here, and do little stutter steps going across. Almost like you're nervous, and it's coming out like that. Some of that'll be covered up later, but at least you've got the depth of the color in it. And of course, it doesn't have to be exactly like your photo, because it's not a nose on a face. It can be in almost any place, but whatever you want for your composition. This area has gotten a little bit darker because there's more water there. And right in here, this looks, if you look closely, there's some water. That's two curls coming up. So the back curl has got a little bit of shadow in it. Okay, now I'm going to go back with this funny color, grayish green, greenish gray. And I just did it with all this in here. Won't stay like this, but it gets me started. And I may leave this, I haven't decided if I'll just go ahead with this. And the reason I'm doing this after I did that initial brush in, because the pastel falls down and it would have gotten it dirty.
So what you're saying is you did the darker value first, then you're doing this lighter value, because if that lighter dust would have gotten into the dark, it would have changed.
It pulls, up here, when I'm rubbing it in, the
Yeah.
pastel falls.
Right.
And as it falls, it catches on some of that grit on the sandpaper.
Yeah. Yes.
And so it
It's
would
the
have
opposite.
some dark areas in it,
Right.
yeah.
It's the opposite order.
Okay, and these that look so vivid, so dark, now they're pushing back. On this one, it has a lot of lace holes where the foam has separated from the water. I think I'm going to not put those in, so I'll have a lot of contrast between these two areas. It makes it stand out more. So might not. Okay, so that's the underpainting layer. And I want to start, I think I need to go up here in this water and make it lay back. But I won't pay a lot of attention to this area. All of it's gonna be here, so this is not really important, except for, the value. But the exactness, not so much. Now with that underpainting pushed back in there, I can go on top of it. It used to be, right, Caroline?
What?
It used to be that we had to go dark and then light on top of it. Pastels have changed so much over the years, you don't have to go that way. I mean, I mix them up all the time, so it's not such a bad thing anymore.
Used to be, I would never rub my pastels,
Exactly,
you know, and this is totally
that's before sanded paper.
right.
Okay, that's what made the change.
want to make this a little cleaner right in here. That has happened here, and I use it a lot as I'm painting. It's an accident, I don't intend it, but this green that I was just putting on, and then the underpainting is this blue. Can y'all see that or not? Then that blue becomes a little guideline for me, because right now, on the reference photo down in here in green, there's some foam that has come back up into here, but it's in shadow. So it's very dark. There's not a lot of value change in it, but it's visible. And so that blue of the underpainting actually created that. And that's by just watching your strokes. What did you leave? What did you cover up? And if you see it, you might decide to just leave it and let it work to your advantage. This is still a good value, I think, as I'm transitioning over here. Sometimes it's a very heavy push-in stroke. Other times it's a floater. And because just dragging that pastel across the paper made these little marks. Probably, if I don't forget about them and I leave them there, then they'll come in handy later in the painting by showing me, by becoming some of these little marks down here. I think we need to go lighter now.